into the chaos. I just released my top 10 favorite Mario games. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. But I also released my top 10 favorite Sonic games. But that was like a while ago. But now, since I released my favorite games for both series, I thought it would be interesting to compare the two series and see which one of them I like more between the two of them. But I'm only going to compare two games between each other. I'm going to try to match them up by basically release date, like Sonic 1 versus Mario 1, Sonic 2 versus Mario 2, that type of matchup. I'm not just going to go pick like my favorite Sonic game and then compare it to like Mario 1 and be like, oh yeah, I definitely like Sonic more than Mario. No, I'm going to just, do one by one, just one from each side, and compare them that way and see which one, which series comes out on top. Alright, so like I said, we're gonna do Mario Bros, the first one, versus the original Sonic the Hedgehog. Now these are both games I don't really want to go back to from either series, like probably the last games I would choose to play. Not that they're bad games, but obviously there's been better games to come out, they've improved over the years. But just between these two, when I play Super Mario Bros, I usually only get past through 1-1, maybe 1-2, and I put the game down. But when it comes to Sonic the Hedgehog, I can at least get past the first 3 stages before I usually put it down. So I'm giving it to Sonic the Hedgehog. Also, I like Sonic's music better than Mario's in this game. Alright, now for these ones, it's kind of not even close. Sonic 2 is better than Super Mario Bros. 2. I think Super Mario Bros. 2 might be one of my least favorite Mario games. And while, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 isn't high up on my list, it's just definitely way better than this one. Even if you take into consideration the Lost Levels, Lost Levels is barely an updated, regular Super Mario Bros. So Sonic 2 still beats that pretty easily. Alright, now for this one, it's gonna be a little weird because I'm gonna compare the next 4 games to each other because Sonic the Hedgehog 3, is supposed to be tagged on with Sonic and Knuckles. So I'm basically gonna answer them individually and then if they were together against both these Super Mario games. Okay, so in terms of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 by itself against Mario Bros. 3, again, this is kind of an easy stop for me. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is one of my favorite Mario games. What? Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is one of my favorite Sonic games. And Super Mario Bros. 3, not that high on my list. So that means if it is paired with Sonic and Knuckles, it's obviously still going to be Super Mario Bros. 3. But when it comes to just Sonic and Knuckles versus Super Mario World, I think I'd take Super Mario World over that. Because, I just play Super Mario World way more than Sonic and Knuckles. Sonic and Knuckles, again, comparing it to the first thing I said, I can get through the first 2 zones of Sonic and Knuckles before I want to put it down. But Super Mario World, I always want to play that. Although I usually only get to one specific stage, it's still a longer I'll play this game longer duration than I would Sonic and Knuckles. And I think I would rather try to play through the majority of Super Mario World than I would try to play through Sonic and Knuckles. But if we're talking about Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles, the whole game as one, I would rather play that over Super Mario World. But just to keep it simple, I'm going to keep Sonic and Knuckles separated from Sonic the Hedgehog and just say Sonic the Hedgehog 3 beats Super Mario Bros. 3 and Sonic and Knuckles loses to Super Mario World. Now on to the series' first 3D entries. I guess you could say technically it's supposed to be, what is that, Sonic 3D, is it Sonic 3D Blast? Sonic 3D Blast, I think, versus Mario 64, but if that were the case, Mario 64 would win, but I'm not gonna count that one. This is kind of Sonic's actual 3D entry. So, these are both games that are loved by each fans of the franchise's respective fan bases, some of the best games of all time. games that are lower on my list than I think other people would normally put them, but still games I like nonetheless. But I think I'm gonna have to give it to Sonic Adventure. I like running around in Mario's Hub World, but I think it's funner to run around in Sonic's Hub World in this game, and Sonic has a lot more characters to choose from to run around in the Hub Worlds. I think I like Sonic's stages a little better too, so yeah, it's gonna be Sonic Adventure for me. Alright, so now I got Super Mario Sunshine and Sonic Adventure 2. Both games I actually like better than the games that predated them. You know, I like Super Mario Sunshine better than Mario 64. Spoilers if you didn't watch my top 10 list, but you probably don't really care that much. And then, yeah, I like Sonic Adventure 2 more than Sonic Adventure. But the difference is I like Sonic Adventure 2 way more than I like Mario Sunshine over Mario 64. And that's kind of how I feel about this. I kind of like Sonic Adventure 2 way more than Super Mario Sunshine. Like, it's kind of not even a close match. Sonic Adventure 2 is a game I played like my whole life. Well, Mario Sunshine is a game I kind of just recently got back into my life. So it might not be fair in that regard, but, you know, can't really do much about that. That's just how it is. I mean, even if I hadn't played Sonic Adventure 2 more than Mario Sunshine, I still think I'd like the game better because it's got a good story and multiple playable characters, and that's two things I really enjoy in video games. I also like the speed gameplay more than Mario Sunshine gameplay of casually going around to collect stuff. Now, you can go faster in Mario Sunshine, you know. If you get good at the game, you can skip parts of levels, you can platform better. But overall, Sonic's gameplay is obviously more focused on speed than Mario's is. And that's just how it is. Although I do need to point out that I only ever played the like remixed versions of Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2, like the ones for the GameCube. I never played the original ones, and you know, the ones on GameCube are like a little more advanced, like they have a few updates and stuff. So it might seem a little unfair because Mario Sunshine and Mario 64 don't really have updates like that, but I don't think it would really change the results. Okay, now I know I just said Mario 64 didn't have an enhanced version to compare to Sonic Adventure DX. I think it's good I didn't compare it to Sonic Adventure because this gives Sonic Heroes something good to go against. I didn't really find another Mario game around the same time that came out that would go good against Sonic Heroes. Somehow, I don't know. But anyways, I think this one's actually really tough. Again, these games are actually very relative compared to each other when it comes to what placement they are on the series top 10s list. Their respective series, you know. Dang. Let's see. I think Sonic Heroes definitely has the better music. I think Mario 64 DS definitely had a more major impact on my life. Like, I've played Sonic Heroes a lot, but I'm pretty sure I played Mario 64 DS way more. That might just be due to Sonic Heroes game disc breaking, and I just never really replaced it. And then Mario 64 DS has like a mysterious thing going on for me. Like, it was just like this internet craze with like the L is real thing for Waluigi or something. I don't know, but it was just going on, and it just kind of like made it have more impact. I'm thinking that it's really hard to pick, but if I really have to choose, which I'll make myself choose, I think I'm gonna have to go with Mario 64 DS just because it has a little more variety, I would say. Like, a common complaint about Sonic Heroes is that if we use a lot of its stuff, like a lot of basically all of its levels for all the different playthroughs, and it doesn't really bother me, but when it comes down to picking between these two games, I think that's what's gonna do it for me, because Mario 64 DS doesn't reuse a lot of its levels, Now that I'm saying that, I'm like, what the heck am I talking about? Mario 64 DS literally, like, that's literally the point of it, to like reuse levels so you can like collect stars in different ways. But you usually have to explore in like different sections of the level and solve different challenges, whereas Sonic Heroes, you kind of just go through the stages the exact same way for the most part. Like, there's a little variety, but I think Mario 64 DS has just a tad bit more. And running around in a hub world, like taking a break between stages, I think that's also going to give it an edge. Whereas in Sonic Heroes, you go from stage to stage, and like you can actually take a break. Like, you don't have to run through the stage immediately. You can just like sit there, like pause the game or whatever. Like, that's actually what I do when I play Sonic Heroes. Sometimes I actually just take in the stages. Like, I just walk around them and like explore a little bit, but it's not the main focus of the game, obviously. So there's not much to do by doing that. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna give it to Mario 64 DS actually. Okay, for this one we got the two handheld 2D platformers, and this one isn't gonna be too long spent on it. I think Super Mario Bros. New Super Mario Bros. Is gonna take it for me. Sonic Rush, I played it a little bit when I was younger, but I haven't really played it as much as New Super Mario Bros. DS. Back then I had, like, my brother was more of the Sonic guy and I was like the Mario guy, so I kind of played that more than Sonic Rush. And I think New Super Mario Bros. DS has a little more going for it than Sonic Rush does, so yeah. Okay, if you watched both my top 10s for Mario and Sonic games, then you know that these are my two favorite games of the series put up against each other, so it's kind of fitting, and it's really hard. Like, it's gonna be harder than the previous one to pick, I think. Man. See, Super Mario Galaxy is without doubt the better game because, obviously, Sonic the Hedgehog was an unfinished game, but that doesn't hinder how much I like Sonic the Hedgehog, so that's the problem here. Sonic the Hedgehog has, like, all my favorite things in Sonic games combined and, like, done as best as possible, besides the fact that it's unfinished. But it feels like a finished game. Like, this would be no contest probably, but it does have glitches, and it does hinder it a little bit. Like, and then Super Mario Galaxy has a good story, good power-ups, good atmosphere. It's like so memorable. Man, this is a hard pick. Obviously, to me, Sonic the Hedgehog has the better story. I mean, Super Mario Galaxy, like, Mario games aren't known for stories. Like, Sonic does do stories, so that's kind of obvious. I mean, maybe not obvious because some people like hate Sonic the Hedgehog's story, like Sonic 06's story. So, maybe not so obvious. But to me, I never hated the story. Like, it's really a good story to me, so. And then it also has more playable characters, which Super Mario Galaxy doesn't really have. It has Luigi, but he almost plays the exact same as Mario. Probably one of the only times I feel like Mario music is gonna match up against Sonic's music, because like Super Mario Galaxy is like the best soundtrack Mario's ever had to me. So yeah, it's really hard to pick. At the end of the day though, I guess what will be the tiebreaker, because Sonic 06, it's not even just the glitches, it's just, I feel like the loading might actually give Super Mario Galaxy the edge, because you have to wait so long and be so patient to play Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic 06. You have to be really patient, which I am, but like, it can still get a little frustrating, especially like if it just loaded between like just one like stage layout or something, yeah, that would be fine, but it does it between like every single like text box that has to load up or whatever. So this does hinder the game. I guess I'll give it to Super Mario Galaxy. Two other games that are on the Wii for these series, not gonna spend long on this. I don't like like Sonic and the Secret Rings is probably one of my least favorite Sonic games, if not the least. And New Super Mario Bros. Wii just barely did make the top 10 for Mario, so it's gonna be New Super Mario Bros. Wii for me. Alright, another matchup that's not gonna be too hard to pick. Sonic Unleashed is a game that I haven't played much. I usually just watch my brother play it, so I don't have much experience with it. I don't dislike the game, but Super Mario Galaxy 2 is also number 1 on my Mario's list, so it's gonna be Super Mario Galaxy 2 for me. This one's gonna be a little harder for me because these are both games I really like. Jeez. I might have to give it to Super Mario Bros. Wii. If I think there's a lot more. Jeez. I think just for the customizable aspect of Sonic and the Black Knight, like you can like build weapons, add different like upgrades, equipment to your character. I think that's gonna take it for me. And I just thought about it that like New Super Mario Bros. Wii U has like missions to do or like challenges, and that I just thought about that and I almost thought it would take up time, but Sonic and the Black Knight also has that. Like in each stage you get to like do extra missions. Not all of them are good, but neither of the ones with New Super Mario Bros. Wii U, so I'm still gonna give it to Sonic and the Black Knight. Okay, another DS pairing. This one doesn't exactly match up perfectly. You know, this one's like Super Mario 3D Land is obviously for 3DS, and Sonic Colors is only for the DS, but well, I mean it's also for the Wii and the DS and like all those other systems, but this is the closest comparison I could find. And yeah, but because it's also on handheld and you know 3D Land is a handheld, I thought it'd be a fair comparison. And that's the one I played the most, the handheld version. So I think I might have to give it to Sonic Colors because 3D Land is a good Mario game, but it's just less like 3D Land is not a game I can see going back too much, but I can see myself going to Sonic Colors as I do often. It's just fun to blast through the stages at like full speed. In 3D Land, like I said, you know, it's a little slow gameplay and it doesn't have like a hub world and it doesn't have like missions. You know, it's not like other 3D Mario games that have like a little extra stuff to it, like extra stuff to explore and all that. This game's just kind of like a, you know, a 2D adventure just in 3D with like nothing else extra, and it doesn't have like a very good thematic thing going for it. Or Sonic Colors is like a very like vibrant game. Not that 3D Land isn't, but like, you know, Sonic Colors has like a good aesthetic to it. And 3D Land is just kind of like good but like bland. Another 2D handheld matchup. Yeah, Sonic Generations obviously has like the console versions, but I mostly played, or I should say I only ever played the handheld version for the 3DS. So I know this is a pretty good matchup. It's kind of like the steps up to the previous games. In a sense, you know, because I compared Mario Bros. DS to Sonic Rush, and then you know the DS version of Sonic Generations is kind of like a step up to Sonic Rush, and you know, so you get the picture. You get the picture. This is kind of hard because these are both kind of like bland titles in my opinion, in a way. Again, talking about the handheld version of Sonic Generations, because I know the console versions, people say it's like the greatest Sonic game of all time. I might have to give it to New Super Mario Bros. 2 because it's bland, but it has like a little bit more fun, I would say, just because the power-ups in Sonic Generations has like none of that at all. It's just like Sonic 1 through stages. You don't get upgrades of any kind. Alright, another shorter one to go through, Super Mario 3D World. One of my most favorite Mario games, Sonic Lost World. Whether it's the Wii U or the 3DS version. The 3DS version I like more than Wii U, I think, but I haven't played the Wii U version much, so like I can't say for sure, but even going off either one of them, Super Mario 3D World is one of my favorite Mario games. Sonic Lost World, you know, it's not bad and I like it as a Sonic game, but it's not on my top 10 list of Sonic games. So easy pick for me, Super Mario 3D World. Okay, so this is the final matchup for now. Maybe I might do another one in the future when more Mario and Sonic games come out. But for now, last matchup, and this is gonna sound crazy, but I honestly think I would pick Sonic Forces over Super Mario Odyssey. Now, the reason for this is because, yes, Mario Odyssey is actually on my list of Mario games, while Sonic Forces isn't. I mean, Sonic Forces was almost on there, but what I think is gonna shake this up for me is the fact that I like the short stages of Sonic Forces till I can like replay them easily multiple times over. Like I can just speed run it and like try to get the best times. Whereas like other Sonic games, you try to run through it and there's like a lot to like go through. So you know what people would say is a major downside, the fact that the game's too short, is actually a way to upgrade it in a way, surprisingly, because now I actually want to like speed run through it and like play it more because it's so easy to beat. I can just like replay it multiple times. Whereas Mario Odyssey, I don't really want to replay it. Like it's a fun game and I can like play through some of it, kind of like how Mario 64 is. You know, you pick it up and I can just like run through like a certain amount of stuff and just like beat it. But it's not as fun for me to like replay Mario Odyssey, especially because of how different it is from like other Mario games. Like it's not that different, but you know, lack of power-ups which was a downside for me, is the reason why I don't want to replay it much. And surprisingly, something both of them has is customization. You can like give your avatar from Sonic Forces a lot of different outfits, and you can give Mario outfits from Mario Odyssey. But obviously, since it's an avatar character, you can give that more stuff than you can for Mario. Like Mario just changes outfit. For the playable character, the avatar from Sonic Forces, you get to you get to pick a lot of stuff for him. Like you can pick different colors for the character. You can choose different animals for it to be. So for me, Sonic Forces has the better customization, the funner stages to run through, and is more easily accessible. Like you can pick up and play the game, like get through it easily, fast. And then Mario Odyssey, you can't really do that. You have to go through kind of like the startup. Like yeah, Sonic has a tutorial stage, but you can go through that really easily. And then I actually like Sonic Forces story. Another thing people don't like, but I like it. Now obviously I praise Super Mario Odyssey for having a story, but like I said before, Mario stories are nothing compared to Sonic stories, so Sonic takes that from me in there too. So yeah, surprisingly, Sonic Forces is gonna win this one for me. In terms of the next games that would be here, but only because I haven't played them, Sonic Superstars and Super Mario Wonder. I can only judge it based on which one I want to play more. I think it'd be Super Mario Wonder because that's a game that like changes up the formula for Mario to some degree, where Sonic Superstars, yeah, it's like a new way to play the 2D Sonic games, but I don't really like when they go back to the classic style for Sonic. Whereas Super Mario Wonder, it's adding like a whole new style to it, so I think I would rather play that. But, you know, we'll see which one I actually like more when I actually play those games. Alright, so that's the video. Now, tallying both of the scores up, you get an even score. 8 for Mario, 8 for Sonic. And I guess the tiebreaker would technically be the last one I said. I said I'd play Super Mario Wonder. I'd rather get that first, but that's not based on how much I would like it more. So it's, I mean, I guess you can use that as a little tiebreaker. But then again, there's also Sonic Frontiers, which I didn't count. I guess that would have lined up with Bowser's Fury, but the thing about that is Bowser's Fury is not its own game. So the fact that Sonic Frontiers would beat that for me just, wouldn't really sit right. So, yeah, I guess maybe it comes back to even again. But yeah, that was fun. It's crazy. I mean, these are both series I love. Like, these are like my most favorite series out of any other franchises. It's Mario and Sonic. It's always been Mario Sonic for me, even since I was a kid. And I still think I would prefer Sonic games over Mario games. I mean, there was a lot of close matchups. Like, there's a lot of hard decisions. Even though I was thinking about this a lot, and I thought Sonic would kind of take it easily because, like I said, I kind of like Sonic series a little more. But Mario does have a lot of solid games. Like it's like everything's like always like well done. And Sonic always has things that like it seems like it can always improve on a little better. Usually, it doesn't hinder the game for me, but comparing it to something as Mario, you know, something that always has like solid everything done well, you know, I guess it's kind of hard to win that way if you just kind of like you know, it gives you something more to like actually choose between, because like I said, like these are like neck and neck, and I just had to basically choose by like one specific thing, like one specific flaw something had over the other, you know. But yeah, that was pretty fun. I always wanted to do this, and maybe I'll do something like it in the future.